Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi. And she yells, oh, girl, you gotta hear this one. A man was arrested for running a theme park. And when they said, where's your license? He said, my dog ate it. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one. Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, you'll never guess who with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one.
Yeah, for the first time in like 6 months, I'm a little late. So sue me. Anyway, hey guys, how you doing? It's going to be a relatively short one today because last night, good Lord, John Cook, if you show up in the chat today, what is your former lawyer who wasn't fired but fired thinking? We've got, I don't know. Start over because I had a thought, but like my thought is fleeting because, like Bruce's brain power, coherent thoughts don't stick around for long. So everybody's been up in arms about the sanction issues for over a year, and is somebody finally getting scared that sanctions are coming? Because this document throws around accusations and just reads more like a whiny teenager on her period than it does, an illegal document or an affidavit. This talks about expert witnesses before discovery was even turned over, and there's more shifting of the narrative than CNN on any given Sunday. So we are going to get into this, but first I'm going to say hi to the chat because y'all are amazing. Marcus, thanks for getting us started with $19.99 super chat. Don't know what I would do without you people. You are awesome. I appreciate it very, very, very much. And yes, I am running a little late. Tech issues between StreamYard and YouTube Studio and mama duties and life and yeah. Mr. Squid didn't even know I was streaming today until I walked in the office and closed the door. So yes, he's on his period. Well, somebody send Bruce no, don't send Bruce anything, but proverbially send Bruce a pack of super tampons because y'all. Yes, and I'm being perfectly honest with you. Some of the documents from Randy lately has been awfully whiny too, and whining is just one of those things that like irks me. When people get whiny, I get annoyed because like y'all are all supposed to be adults. Find something better to do with your time than bitch like a teenage girl. Just saying. However, so I call it like I see it, and the motion that Randy filed, in my opinion, to get the judge recused was a little bit whiny in its own right. But as whiny as Randy gets, in my opinion, as whiny as I think Randy gets in some of his motions, does not hold a candle to the amount of PMSing that Bruce does his entire life. Hey, and the good Bruce is here. Motion to compel all other Bruces to change their names so I can be the exclusive. How are you, Bruce the Moose? And Ani M, thanks for the 5 Squid Pro Quo memberships. Can we give BBB a pee pad? Y'all, I'm just all right. So we are going to get straight into this document because I was planning on taking today to work on my stream for tomorrow night because there is a lot of research that I'm going through for tomorrow night's stream. For those of you who don't join me on my other channel, tomorrow we have been in a chronic pain series every Sunday night. And tomorrow we are talking about hormones and chronic pain, which, Bruce, you might actually, even though that's my drama-free zone, and if you mention drama on that channel, you get the boot. However, that might be a one that Bruce wants to tune into because it's chronic pain in your hormones. So, just saying, just saying. So let's get into this. Would be nice if I moved my drink out of the way. And unfortunately, in order to get through this, I would like to have some alcoholic beverages to get me through this document. However, I don't have any alcohol in the house. So we have not had an alcoholic beverage all year. It's been a dry 2026, hence why I've had kind of an attitude lately. Because, you want a glass of wine every now and then. But, with that being said, the Celsius and a bunch of caffeine and some sarcasm is going to have to do. I just drink more water when I want a good stream. I mean, that's one way to do it. All right. No, y'all haven't pushed me to drink. The fact that I might be filing another police report has pushed me to drink. You have a martini? I have a raspberry peach Celsius. Fed 1 is currently shut down to a bankruptcy. Both parties told no more filings, called out Jay specifically to stop. A fired lawyer defies the order to appear for sanctions. Prior to that firing, none of it makes sense. But yet here we find ourselves. And just when you think that it can't get any more freaking ridiculous, here we find ourselves. Bruce isn't. Actually, no one's giving me grief, but I hear some hummings around the internet and you hear some things and it's just, you just want to go and squash some crap. Wasn't Bubbles Lynette's lawyer, not John's? I think for the purpose of Fed 1, he was representing them both, but I would have to go back in the timeline and the Wayback Machine to the documents and look. And Tammy Main, thanks for the 5 Squid Pro Quo memberships. I appreciate you so very, very much. And I appreciate your support of my second channel and my endeavors. And there might be more content coming easier on that channel because 2 things have happened this week. 1, the little is officially going to preschool in the fall. So there will be a couple hours a day where I am not doing 100% mama duties. And also, I do have another job 2 days a week where I will be in a gym facility and for a while might have access to that facility where no one else is there. And the owner might allow me to use her facility to film. I don't know on that yet, but if she does, it'll be so much easier to do certain activities than trying to find places in my house that doesn't, all of that. But we shall see. All right, so this was John's Cook's response to Order 182. And 182 was the order from 182 had nothing to do with John Cook. 182 was the order denying Randy's motion to get the judge thrown off this case. Nothing to do with John Cook. You want to know? I have not paid any attention. That's how busy I've been. I have no idea. I didn't even fill out a bracket this year. I have not watched one basketball game of March Madness this year. When your kid goes to school, day drinking is so much more fruitful. I don't even night drink, let alone day drink. Too old for that. The hangovers are just awful. I have one bottle of wine in the house that is unopened, but it was a bottle that I bought for my sister-in-law, and I hadn't had the chance to give it to her yet when she told us she was pregnant. And now her daughter is here and cute as a button, and I am waiting to crack that bottle open with her. So it is the only bottle in the house. It is from Chateau Elan in North Georgia, and it's my bougie bottle. I spent a lot of money on 3 bottles of wine. I spent more money on 3 bottles of wine than I have on probably the last 100 bottles of wine that I bought. With that being said, you don't get hungover if you don't stop drinking. Well, have a cup of coffee and 40 ounces of water. Well, I have my 2 vices, my Stanley Cup and my Celsius. Yes, this right here. Just when you think it can't get any more, one of them takes it as a challenge and says, hold my beer. Or in this case, hold my Celsius. All right. So 182 was the motion to get, or the order that the judge denied Randy's motion to recuse the judge. It says the court will address misconduct by our former counsel, which means possible sanctions against us. Yes, it does. He's not wrong, but it's like a time and a place. The appropriateness is not there. I asked our former counsel to provide a full response to any possible misconduct. Attached is with this response is the affidavit from our former counsel. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, both sides are not perfect by any means. However, one side just tries to take the level of stupid to new lows. It's, yeah, it's good. And it is a pretty short motion, so this won't hopefully take us too long. Affidavit of Beelzebubbles, or Bubble Brain, or Bird Brain, or Dumbfuck, or whatever you would like to call him. Excuse my French. For those of you who don't like me cussing, this is the man who laughed about my daughter choking on an Apple Pencil, and thought it was a good idea, and then lied about it when Megan and Tug called him out. He can sit on it and rotate. He can take that Apple Pencil and shove it where the sun don't shine, and then don't give it back to me because I don't want it. So there is no love lost for this man. This is the man that I filed a police report against when I lived in my former town, because he was online running his mouth about calling CPS and all of that shit. So there is no love lost for this man. I try to remain neutral most of the time, but with certain people, I will never be neutral. This fuckstick is one of them. So if you want to hear me really be petty and really be a bitch, this is the time. And Tammy, thanks for the $2 super chat. No super chat, at least hit the like button. Yes, please hit that like button. I appreciate your support, Tammy. You always support me. I have a crew of Tammys, and I love every single one of them. I got out in the minivan today and got groceries. You, Lori, you and I need to have you need to call me. We need to have a conversation because I got connections with where your issue right now, and I might be able to pull some bitch strings. Not guaranteed, but I might be able to burn a couple bridges down in your defense. Don't fuck with my friends. Order 182, the court wrote, the misconduct of defendant's former counsel would be addressed and has not been addressed yet because this case is and has been stayed. This right here, this right here, it has been stayed, meaning you should not be writing this, or if you are writing this, nobody should be submitting this yet because the case is stayed. Are you stupidity of these people? Absolute stupidity. And that was my whole point for months, that sanctions haven't been handed out yet because the case is on a stay, and there will be no sanctions until the case is not on a stay. And people got mad at me for that, and I lost subscribers, and people called me stupid and all kinds of names and said I was, biased and blah blah blah. No fucking hate. I hate Bruce. I hate Bruce with a fucking passion. If there's anybody on the planet who I would like to see sanctioned, it's Bruce. But with that being said, I also, despite hating someone's guts, have the common sense to know that the judge was probably not going to do anything when the case is stayed. That is one of the reasons that, in my opinion, Bruce talked to Lynette about the bankruptcy, not for her benefit, but for his. Just, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's could be petty some more. So I think that this whole bankruptcy idea was for Bruce's benefit, not Lynette's. One more reason why, as much as I don't like Lynette, I think she got fucked over. I don't like John Cook. He's welcome in this chat. We're not friends. However, I think he got screwed over because things were bad before, but they were not this bad before. Just saying. Nothing good has come of contact with this asswipe. Yes, right here. Everything is for BBB's benefit. And you don't have to like somebody. In fact, you can dislike other people, but know that they still got screwed over. So, it is what it is. So, in any event, sanctions are routinely imposed at the end of litigation for conduct that occurred earlier in litigation. As 182 did not specify the misconduct that would be addressed, (182) did not, but let's see, documents, we're looking at all the documents in Fed 1. Anything after April 2nd, the 4-1 motion to vacate magistrate, notice of withdrawal of counsel, 4-4 order to show cause, response to show cause, Zoom here, or the court minutes that you didn't show up for. It's just, do we really need to recap, or are you this stupid? And people don't like the judge, fine, whatever you could feel about him, but he is not this fucking stupid to not understand what Bruce did to him and how Bruce wronged him by not showing up for a federal fucking hearing face to face. Like, Bruce, do you have any brain cells left? Like, did you ugh. Like, I'd like to make fun of you, but dude, this is stupid even for you. This ensures the court has information relevant to all possible conduct it may have been referring to. The 5 emails underlined motion 96, sanctions denied, order 162, motion 78 and 82 identified as frivolous and or presented for improper purposes, not appearing at April 3rd, 2025 hearing, which I responded, document 130, and conduct during my December 2nd, 2024 deposition of the plaintiff. Okay, I am not a lawyer by any means. However, if I were writing a letter to say, like, the dean of my college as to why I should not be reprimanded for being a complete dumbass, I would not want to remind the dean of the college of why I was stupid. What the fuck are you doing? What? You make Marines look smart. No offense to my Marines in the chat. You know who you are. I love you guys. But you make my cran-eating friends look like Albert Einstein. Just saying. Oh, brain burnt. Oh, oh my God. Dude, this is why people that you know get drunk when they're around you, because that's the only way they can tolerate you. These are the only things suggested as misconduct on my part by plaintiff's counsel or the court. I'm willing to appear remotely to address any others. No, 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 no. That's not how this shit works. You don't get to skip an in-person hearing that was required to be there in person and then say, well, I can show up remote. No, bitch. No, 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 no. Bombastic side eye. What the actual flying fuck? Just say it. I also remind the court of plaintiff's counsel's misconduct that the court has not addressed. No, 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 or made a reasonable determination as to whether any of it warrants sanctions. You dumbass. Randy was sanctioned $4,000. Randy's sanctions are over. Like, if you would have shown up, you would have had to write a check and you would have been fine. And none of this would be going on. But you had to be. Mm-hmm. Like, this number 3 right here, dude, you're stupid. Like, you stupid. Yeah, you would have a bounce check. Well, that's true. That's possibly true. Like, yeah, JC should have received sanctions. Reading is hard, since this is the second time he has filed suit or filed shit while under stay. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, that's true, and we will see because there hasn't been a response yet. And just another way to muddle everything up. Yeah, but it's like, if I were the judges, because the judge isn't going to read this first. His people are going to read it. His judicial assistants and clerks are going to read this, and they're going to be like, "What?" And we wonder why people drink. I'm pretty sure that some people are alcoholics not because of who they are, but who they have to be around. Emails in motion 96. One possibility for the misconduct referenced in 182 is the emails underlying motion 96. My response, 115, refuted that any of the emails constituted misconduct, and the court thereafter denied motion 96. So it seems this is not what the court is referring to. This whole thing so far is just whiny. Like, what are you jacking off to this shit? Like, do you get some like sick gratification from this? Ugh, gross. And hey, here and after, how are you? Number 3, he states counsel perjured. But what the hell is when did BBB become a judge? He, that's true too. That that's true too. Stay in your lane. Two things that are free in life: the ability to stay in your lane and mind your own damn business. Bruce knows how to do neither. The emails underlying Motion 96 did not warrant sanctions, which is what Order 98 effectively was. This just screams I'm trying to tell the judge what the judge already knows. I'm pretty sure the judge knows this shit better than anybody. And this is just going to be me on one big rant session on how stupid Bruce is. So if you enjoy talking about how stupid Bruce is, yes, yes. And you sent me that sticker on Discord that said I know your lane sucks, but stay in it anyway, or you need to stay in it. Deuce is going to be a competent lawyer, but then I. Oh, for those of you who don't know, my local police department has an incredible sense of humor. They have been getting inundated with lemon pound cakes, and they keep posting them on Facebook. They've been posting pictures of lemon pound cake for 2 weeks. And I'm kind of like, should I just go bring them a lemon pound cake and see what they do? Just saying. Yeah. And so far, there has been no answers. I checked just in case. Some were misrepresented by plaintiff's counsel. Shifting that narrative. 96 did not disclose an email sent by me using the word scumbag was as defendant in a separate case, as not as counsel in this case. Here's the thing, Bruce. One and the same. One and the same. When you are in front of professionals and you are supposed to be a professional, it doesn't matter if you're, I was the defendant in this case. You're how can I say this where even my toddler can understand it? When you call someone a scumbag and then turn around and try to talk to them professionally, they're going to remember the fact that you called them a scumbag. And they're not going to want to work with you. And anything you can and you do say in an email to a lawyer when you are a lawyer can and will be used against you in court. Does that need to be... Was that simple enough for a 3-year-old to understand? Or do I need to dumb it down some more? Just, in response to plaintiff's counsel listing mine and 9 others' home addresses on the public docket, leading to threats from strangers, in itself an abusive process by plaintiff's counsel in that action. Shush. Bruce, everybody knew your address prior to that. Trust me. 2 of the emails merely used the acronym Polymop. I'm not Polyflap kids. Where's Rickles? Whenever I hear that polymop, I think of The Wizard of Oz and Polyflap kids. To refer to plaintiff's counsel's abuse of this litigation with frivolous filings, which the court agreed, sanctioning him $4,000 for motions 85 and 86. This is one thing that makes lawyers look incredibly stupid when you argue against your own argument. Right here, he says sanctioning him $4,000 for motions 85 and 86. But up here says the court has I also remind you of plaintiff's counsel's misconduct that the court has not yet addressed or made reasoned determination as to whether any of it warrants sanctions. You argued against yourself. Dumb. Dumb. I am not a lawyer, but do we need like common sense writing 101? Because I can do a common sense writing and how to craft a decent argument, and it is not arguing against yourself. Like, I did take enough writing classes in college, business writing, creative writing, had to take healthcare writing for healthcare professionals, some stupid crap like that. That was a giant ass waste of my time. But, and then in every class, we did writing. We did notes. And I don't understand how someone so highly educated, you know what they call a lawyer who graduated last in law school? A lawyer. The whole anti-Hales bunch makes me think of the Wizard of Oz. If I only had a brain, should be their theme song. Yeah, it's true. But arguing against yourself is, in my opinion, one way to piss off anybody and not win an argument. One email was from a journalist sent to me among numerous recipients and containing a eggplant emoji. It was misrepresented as from me. The last email, "You're endlessly ridiculous," did not warrant sanctions any more than the plaintiff's counsel's emails to me, "Stop being so ridiculous." That might be the only thing in this that I tend to agree with. And that makes my like brain hurt and I want to throw up just thinking about that. But like, "You're endlessly ridiculous" and "Please stop being so ridiculous" are the same things. However, shifting a narrative, I'd have to go back and look. And this is where I mean shifting the narrative, because I agree with this statement D on its own. However, I would have to go back and look at the emails and investigate when the timing of those two, because context is everything. And when you put it in a phrase like this, it's much more agreeable to the general public. However, it takes the context out of the situation, which I believe is part of the problem here. Because the fact that I read all those emails, it was a long time ago. I can't remember the exact context of this, but I said that in the context of this phrase, I sort of agree with that. Saying "you're endlessly ridiculous" and saying "stop being ridiculous" can kind of be, neither one of them are sanctionable taken out of context. Yeah, yeah, and this doesn't strike me as an affidavit of what happened or this is relitigating, and that's all he ever does is relitigate shit that's already been finished. Like his whole if I'm remembering correctly, his whole motion to recuse the judge was relitigating everything in the case, except for having his clients turn over discovery. In Order 162, the court summarily denied both 96 and 117, which was based on 35 emails from plaintiff's counsel containing threats, insults, and false accusations. I don't think anything in there contained a threat. Maybe insults, which I don't agree with. Leave insulting for YouTube. But I don't ever remember. The only thing I remember threat-wise is "I will tell the judge," which is like, "Don't make me tell daddy," but still. And false accusations without knowing any of the facts, underlying them, stating both motions show a different side of the same ugly coin, unprofessionalism by counsel that has plagued this case. Yes, and I agree. Both sides have been unprofessional. However, one side significantly more because as much as I don't agree with some of the things that Randy has said or done, he stays off of YouTube and keeps his mouth shut about active cases. Stay The huge disparity between the two motions and this conduct of plaintiff's counsel show the falsity of this equivalence. Order 98 to show cause and not to have my pro hoc vice status revoked due to the emails in 96 was moot due to my withdrawal on April 3rd. Well, it wasn't but that hearing was April 3rd that you were supposed to be at, which you knew about prior to your withdrawal, and you only withdrew because you were a coward. You weren't fired. And do you notice how he says his withdrawal here, not me being relieved as counsel? It's all about the words and the manipulation in those words. Sorry, I'm late as the petty queen in full force. Yes, and for those of you who are just joining, I generally try to remain somewhat neutral and just judge things as I see them. However, with Bruce, it's a little different because I think Bruce is a giant ass piece of shit. Who he was the person who tried to intimidate me not to talk about this case by talking about my daughter and talking about my daughter choking. And the one way to get me to talk about something or to do something is to tell me that I can't or not to do it and try to intimidate me because I don't know if y'all fucking notice, but I do not intimidate easily. In fact, most of the time, people criticize me and say that I am intimidating. Why? I don't know. I'm not mean at all. I don't know what people are talking about. However, I don't intimidate easily, especially by random ass fucks on the internet. All right. Yeah. That right there. I can't come because I'll be arrested. What a coward. and Tammy, I got it right here. My F bomb. If this is not the name of a product for me, F bomb, I don't know what is. It's my beef tallow, and Roy, no, I don't. It does not smell like steak, but I use it for everything. I love it. It's making this line in the middle of my forehead go away. I still can't believe he did that to you, Squid. Laugh at baby Squid. No, no, no. Yeah, it's one of them situations where I'm like, the one way to piss me off is to talk about my kid. Talking about my kid is one way for me to go complete mama bear mode on you and then to lie about it. When Megan and Tug called him out, at least Megan, I don't know if Tug was there for that conversation, but I know Megan was. She made a separate video about it where she pasted what he said and the denial of what he said next to each other. So, yeah, that's true. So, the one way he was trying to intimidate me not to talk about this. And the one way to get me surefire to not listen to you is to talk about my kid and do the exact opposite. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And do you notice, you can tell who in life, and this is not in this case, this is just in general, who in life is full of shit and who in life is going to be real with you. Because one side will either keep their mouth shut or when they talk, they will provide receipts to back up, also known as evidence, to back up what they say. People who lie to you will repeat the same talking points over and over and over again, but not show you any evidence to back up There's no receipts to back up what they are saying. All they do is repeat the same talking points over and over again, hoping that if they repeat them enough, people will actually believe them. And the downside is people who either don't choose to do their own research, can't do their own research, or just so manipulated and gaslit believe this shit. And then they go and tell more people, and that's how misinformation spreads. But that's narcissism at its finest. So, yes, and he has for a while that I know of. This was 2024 when he did this, but bitch, I still hold a grudge. Generally speaking, I don't care about him. However, any chance I get to make fun of him, count me in. And when you file shit like this, that is inviting me to make fun of you because once again, you're trauma dumping and you got your fifis hurt on the freaking internet and in public documents, how am I not to oblige? How rude of it would how rude would it be of me not to oblige and talk shit about you? Like it's not like he ever apologized, so why would you not hold a grudge? I know, like certain other people who have mentioned my children or my parenting skills have come back to me either um in a stream or in the chat or in a DM and have apologized to me. Don't hold a grudge. Shit happens, people say shit, whatever. But when you have not apologized to me a year and a half later. All right. This I just can't, like, the April 3rd, my withdrawal on April 3rd. You withdrew because you knew you were in trouble. The court has already denied motion 96, removing that as a basis for sanctions. Last time I checked, denying a motion does not remove it as a basis for sanctions. Just saying. Denying it removes it is basically saying no. However, it does not remove you from liability for entering any stupid motions. Just because your motions were denied, it does not remove it as a basis for sanctions. Thank you for playing, but that's not how life works. And if that's not how life works, that's definitely not how the law works. Right? That's I'm not quite that far, but close. Another possibility is that Order 182 refers to motions 78 and 82, which were identified as Order 118 as frivolous and or presented for improper purposes. The court said nothing about 78 or 82 on April 3rd. How would you know since you weren't there? I mean, there's court minutes, but court minutes only go so far. I mean, or since, and the motions were proper under FRCP 60, so I believe sanctions for them have been dispensed with. You have not been sanctioned for anything, so shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up. The motion 78 was filed in good faith because of the defendants believed the court's order 55 reflected a misunderstanding that 54 sought to transfer to the Gainesville division, where 54 sought to ensure live proceedings would be held in the Gainesville courthouse, where it was filed so counsel could be found there. Gainesville to Gainesville. Oh. Yeah, thank you. Both of Randy's motions were denied and then sanctions. Exactly. Like, geez, like some of these things you do not have to be a lawyer to figure out. They just require a tad bit of common sense and looking at the precedent that's already been set in this case. Like this. Precedent. Early on, I warned some of the anti-Hales not to spread lies and do their research or pay a lawyer to tell you the same thing. Well, the lawyers that they have, quote unquote, paid, they have not told them anything. But I still say it. Like, do you notice the only two people in federal two that got lawyers were the lawyers? Bruce and MLS. The only two people in federal two who got their own lawyers were lawyers. That's not a coincidence. Motion 82 was filed because the court had stated in Order 66 if the parties are unable to resolve objections to discovery requests, counsel should expect that a hearing will be scheduled. I relied on that order by maintaining objections to 3 abusive and burdensome discovery requests, 5 years of phone records, and expectations of a hearing on the objections, and sought that hearing via 82. I don't agree with him here. However, see you, Nanny. I don't agree with him here. However, this is the only the only bullet point or number so far that has only dealt with him. That has only dealt with his motion. It has not thrown or tried to throw Randy under the bus, except for this 5 years of phone records. But as a whole, number 10 is the only part that is actually reserved to why he filed something. Yeah, none of this is proper. But if you break things down and look at each individual number, bullet point, or he's basically he threw his clients under the bus as why he filed that, because his clients misunderstood instead of just explaining to your clients what had happened. Like, he's throwing Randy, he's even throwing, so for John to file this, I'm like, John, do you realize he threw you under the bus? Like, in number 9, because defendants believed the court's order 55 would reflected a misunderstanding. He didn't say I. He threw his clients under the bus. Not appearing April 3rd. I would not remind the judge that you did not show up to an in-person hearing where you were supposed to be sanctioned. I wonder if John even knows that John filed this. That's I think he does, because that first page, that really does sound like John, or at least the John who comes into this chat, it kind of sounded like the same person. I don't have 100% proof, but if I were a betting woman, I'd know. But I would be willing to bet that John didn't read this because he still trusts Bruce. Just saying. Why? I don't know. John, if you do trust Bruce, you're a bigger idiot than I thought. No offense. Another possibility for the misconduct is referenced in 182 is my not traveling and appearing for the April 3rd show cause hearing. However, the reason for that hearing, to show cause for not revoking my pro hoc vice, was moot when I withdrew as counsel, thus relinquishing my status, and on April 9th, I responded to Order 128 concerning my non-appearance. No. It's not how this shit works. Filing a withdraw 2 hours before you're supposed to be in court, not appropriate. Yeah. The envelope contained a Florida P.O. box. Yeah. Yeah, John watches me, so he would say if he didn't do it. So that's the other thing. Right there. He withdrew and not fired. Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm here, because it's not just the antiques. Just saying. So this is why I just grabbed popcorn and can hang on for the ride. So I'm pretty sure if John didn't file this, he would be in here and letting us know. So because I don't have to like the man to still want to hear what he has to say, and he knows that. He knows we'll never be the type to sit down and have a beer together, but he knows he's welcome here because he can talk. Hey, General T. All right. Alleged deposition misconduct. There's nothing alleged about that. I saw it. Order 43 referred to in Order 162, stating I could disregard to the court's prior order to behave in a professional manner. Bruce, you wouldn't know professional if it smacked you upside the head. Thanks, Roy, for bringing that up. That's a really good point, which didn't even cross my mind today. It doesn't matter when he filed the withdrawal, since the judge would have to grant it before it would take effect. Thank you for the common sense that apparently wasn't so common to me today. All right. Was issued in response to my filing of the transcript of my December 2nd, 2024 remote depot. The behavior of counsel for both parties, as well as that of the plaintiff, was improper. The judge was not wrong here. Because of the improper behavior permeated the deposition and eventually led to his termination, the court believes that a partial redeposition of the plaintiff is necessary. The partial redeposition will be personally supervised by the court and will occur at the U.S. District Court in Pensacola. Plaintiff's counsel, defendant's counsel, and plaintiff would require to appear in person for the partial redepo. Plaintiff's counsel did not accuse me of improper behavior. Only the court did. Which is the court's I don't like just stop. These were the people who weren't spanked as children. These were the people who were throwing temper tantrums and their parents gave them ice cream so that they would shut up. Instead of telling them that we can't always get what we want. Plaintiff's counsel did not accuse me of improper behavior. Only the court did. There was no consideration in Order 43 as to whether the plaintiff's deposition was desired by the defendant at that point, and no option given to not take the plaintiff's deposition. Compelling me to travel and retake the plaintiff's depo was a disproportionate sanction on one party for the other's misconduct. No. The judge said, hey, guess what? Because y'all couldn't do it remotely, all three of you, we're going to have to do it in person. And it's, you know whose fault it is that you took a case in Florida when you live in Massachusetts? The person who lives in Massachusetts. Guess what? If you didn't want to travel to Florida and you didn't have the means and the money to travel to Florida, don't take a Florida case. Otter Creek to Pensacola is 335 miles. It's a 5+ hour drive. Yeah, that's the court's privilege. And guess what? If you don't want to, and I think I said this a year and a half ago, if you don't want to travel to Florida at any given notice, when the court says, hey, be here this time, at this date, this time, guess what? Don't take a case in Florida when you live over 1,000 miles away. It seems like common sense, but apparently common sense needs to be spelled out. Just, I don't have a wooden spoon, but for some reason I have a random fork by my desk. So if you want to know what my cutlery looks like, it's basic Walmart, because, don't ask why it's here, because I don't know. However, common sense is the most endangered thing in Massachusetts. Yes, after watching Karen Reed, after Trooper Proctor, after Kelsey Fitzsimmons, thank God the judge found her not guilty. Just common sense has been running low in Boston since the Tea Party. Like, or maybe you shouldn't take a case in another state. If you can't afford the travel, don't take it. Oh no, not this fork. Don't ask me, Skirt. Ask Spawn of AJ. I'm not asking Spawn of AJ anything. She can. I haven't talked to her in a long time. I need to message her. Yeah, amen to that. Thank God. He got lost in Gainesville to Gainesville. Imagine Massachusetts to Gainesville. Yeah. Order 43 further stated, but he okay, going back to 13, because something struck me as I started reading. Plaintiff's counsel did not accuse me of improper behavior, the court did. But compelling me to travel to retake the plaintiff's depot was a sanction for one party for the other's misconduct. No, bitch, you both, according to the court, acted with misconduct. That means you both get you both get the same thing. You show up here. Like, for the one disproportionate sanction on one party for the other's misconduct. In this last sentence, he tries to make it sound like he didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. It wasn't me. Order 43 further stated, without distinguishing who supposedly did what, name-calling, personal attacks, and obstructionist behavior has no place in a deposition or any other proceeding in this case. Experienced lawyers like the ones involved in this case should be able to control themselves and their clients, but they apparently cannot. This false equated me with plaintiff's counsel. No, it put everybody in the same bunch. You all suck, and I'm fed up with all of you. Like, that's what that means, Bruce. Do you need to take a 5th grade English class? Everybody sucks here. You all suck, and I'm pissed at all of you, and this is how I'm going to handle it. I'm not naming each individual thing each one of you did to piss me off because I'm too pissed to tell you. Y'all pissed me off as a whole group. Nobody's innocent here. Except for Randy and Jeremy. Jeremy admitted that he acted foolish. Randy took his sanctions, his slap on the wrist, and moved on with his life. Bruce, you are the only fucking person that can't move on with your life. You are the only one that is stuck on something that happened back in fucking 2024. Because you cannot move forward with this. And I'm talking to him like he's here because one of his little minions or shit is going to tell him that I was talking about him. So, Bruce, we know you lurk. Like, we know you lurk. So, you're going to be on the rewatch crew. You're probably one of the people who hit the down button. Congratulations. Thanks for the engagement. December 2nd, 2024, deposition transcript shows the plaintiff engaged in name calling and personal attacks and threats. The plaintiff and his counsel engaged in obstructionist behavior. No, you engaged in the obstructionist behavior. You might not have been name calling. That might have been Jeremy only. However, you did say, and y'all and y'all in your flea bag did say that you were going to try to set Jeremy up, and you won. Like, you won. Hook, line, and sinker, Jeremy fell for that bullshit. However, there is documented proof of you antagonizing Jeremy. I don't have to like Jeremy to have the fucking common sense to know that y'all went on the internet and said, we're going to set him up. And I read through that transcript. Go back and watch. IT Goatee and I read through that transcript. Did a dramatic reading. It was obvious you were setting Jeremy up to say some stupid shit or to get mad. That right there is obstructionist behavior. So Bruce is stuck on stupid. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And only plaintiff's counsel failed to control his client. Well, because he was the only client there. In defense of anybody, he's the only client there. However, you fail to control your clients all the time as well. Yeah, obstructionist behavior is failing to produce evidence. BM failed. Whenever I think BM, Bruce Matskin is not the first thing I think. Well, yeah, actually it is. Just, never mind. The conduct caused termination of the deposition. Their conduct. No, yours too. Yours too. You were not innocent. Stop trying to play innocent. Stop shifting the narrative faster than CNN on a Sunday. Your narrative shifted faster than Don Lemon in church. Plaintiff's counsel false invocation of federal jurisdiction, subordination of perjury, and other misconduct have not been meaningfully addressed. False invocation of federal jurisdiction. I'm pretty sure by now, if this court did not have jurisdiction in this case, the judge would have said something. Just saying. The irony and the mendacity of plaintiff's counsel accusing the magistrate of bias against him is glaring, considering plaintiff's counsel has not been sanctioned. Bruce, are you really this stupid? Are you really this stupid? Hi, beautiful. Okay. Oh, girl, you're heavy. Or even required to respond for any of the following. Plaintiff's counsel compiled non-actionable social media comments and falsely labeled them as extortion to influence jurisdiction. Plaintiff's counsel suborned perjury to influence the court's exercise of jurisdiction. Where you just say this in an affidavit, but where's your receipts? Plaintiff's counsel, just because we feel a certain way doesn't mean it's the truth. Your feelings don't equal fact. Just remember that. Just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean it's true. Daddy. Daddy. Go get him. He's in there. Bye. Bye. Can you say pecuniary advantage? No. Can you say sanctions? Nope. Sorry, Jeffrey. Yeah. Sorry. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. Not saying BBB is stupid, but he was perpetual non-rates look smart. 4 years of college, 3 years of law school, and BBB is what you get. Really? Yeah. He has verbal diarrhea. Oh, the shifting. It's all about shifting the narrative. And it's just so like, y'all. It's all about, well, he did this. Well, he did this. Well, I didn't do anything. Well, I didn't do anything. Plaintiff's counsel filed lawsuit despite no expert to prove lost business from claims of tortious interference. Bruce, are you dumb? At the pleading stage, stop trying to put the cart before the horse. At the pleading stage, God, you don't have to be a lawyer to understand that there's an order to a lawsuit. Pleading, discovery, experts and testimony, trial, and that there's a flow here. You do not need experts testimony and experts in the pleading stages. That's not how this shit works. How am I a non-lawyer and even I understand that? Just saying. Yeah. So as Senator Kennedy said, it's not that he's the dumbest guy in the nation, but he better hope the dumbest guy doesn't die. Ugh. He's the reason that we need directions on a shampoo bottle. And no expert to establish the auto traffic that could have been seen signs on sticks in the grass. Two experts that plaintiff testified on December 19th his case depended on. Wrong stage. It's like putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. It doesn't work right now. Like, no, but Jeremy did say that I believe he said he was going to have experts, but like that's for after discovery, when you have all the evidence and you're presenting it to the judge, like evidentiary hearings and shit. Like, just plaintiff's counsel refused 4 separate requests to control his client, leading to my termination of the December 2nd, 2024 deposition. You hoped he terminated that deposition in hopes that the judge would just say, well, that's all then, and not have them finish it. And the judge had them finish it, which pissed off Bruce royally because the judge made him do something that he didn't want to do. Just, let's be honest here. All right, plaintiff's counsel abused this litigation to harass a non-party, Amanda Martin, with a deposition that had nothing to do with any claims or issues in this case, evidently so the transcripts could be read and discussed on the plaintiff's and his associates' YouTube channels. Plaintiff's counsel, I got nothing for that one because I don't know. Plaintiff's counsel ignored the court's order to pay half the cost of the transcript in his client's December 19th, 2024 deposition, and extraordinarily threatened me with seeking sanctions if I did not pay him for half the cost of an extra copy of the transcript he had ordered. We went through that shit show, and Bruce, your math wasn't mathing. Like, your math isn't mathing. Plaintiff's counsel falsely accused me of fabricating quotes from legal authority, necessitating my response to ensure court wasn't misled. Document 131. Plaintiff's counsel sent at least 35 emails containing false accusations, threats of sanctions, and things to tell the magistrate, insults and sarcasm. Stop trying to relitigate. This whole thing is to be why your clients should not be sanctioned when you are. This is not what this is supposed to be. Stop trying to relitigate a case that you're no longer a part of, except for sanctions. Plaintiffs filed motion 96 without local rule 7.1 compliance to inflame and mislead the court by failing to explain the scumbag email was sent to me by a litigant as a litigant in a different case. We've already talked about this. I'm not going over it again, but basically it doesn't matter when you called someone a scumbag. They're going to remember it. And it doesn't matter if, I was acting as a plaintiff in this, or the lawyer in this case, but I was acting as the defendant in this case. It doesn't fucking matter. You as a professional call another professional a scumbag in an email. That's getting used against you. Sorry, bro. Sorry about your luck, but welcome to the party. not as counsel in this case, and falsely representing that email with a eggplant emoji was from me when it was from someone else. Plaintiff's counsel attempted to add me as a defendant to this case while I was counsel frivolously and for improper purposes, even after being admonished against doing so by the magistrate. He wasn't admonished. My goal was dismissal, not multiplying proceedings. As pro bono defense counsel, every hour spent was lost from my income producing law practice. Somebody needs to look up his income. I know there's some sites and some research that you can do. I just haven't done it. I know people who have though, but I don't think he really had any people. Like the exploitation of which has been plaintiff's counsel's litigation strategy. My work was aimed at getting the case dismissed, not to protract the litigation and multiply proceedings. He made me say it. I think that's the only way he knows how to act. I don't think he's ever had to grow up. The court's equivalence of me with plaintiff's counsel is difficult to rationalize in light of our obvious opposite goals and motives. In light of the your motive was to get famous, and you did. You just got infamous. If you look up stupid in the dictionary, I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to see is a picture of BBB. In light of the tremendous disparity between the actual misconduct plaintiff's counsel has engaged in and the claims of misconduct that have been levied against me, I'm willing to appear remotely for a hearing to further address any conduct the court might consider as warranting sanctions. That is a very real possibility. And that's why you shouldn't interject yourself in places where you're not wanted. Oh my goodness. Y'all just, but we do have 147 people here and only 95 likes. What are the 50 of you guys doing? Come on, guys. But that's all I have for you today. We are going to, we have 96 likes and 1 dislike. Oh, Bruce, thanks for showing up. Appreciate you being here. Can y'all hit that like button for me and share this stream out if you want to hear me rant and make fun of Bruce for an hour, because that's what I do, because he's a special one. Roy, you did it. Thanks for the $4.99 super chat. He made you say pull him up and I'll make you say it. Half cock. So for those of you who don't know or are new, I was covering a case out of the same district in Florida with the University of Florida's head football coach. He got fired, and a couple of people that work for a collective, and this was the owner of a NIL collective out of the University of Florida, and it was HATH, Hath. And everybody makes fun of me, and now the only way I say that name is if someone super chats me, because y'all make fun of me for the way I say it. So now y'all, the only way I say that last part of the name is if you super chat me, because I am not doing it anyway. And Tammy, I don't know if I got that, but thanks for the gifted 5 Squid Pro memberships. I appreciate you very, very much. I'm not sure if I said it or not, so I'd rather say it twice and not miss it. However, so that piece of work that we just read was like a teenage girl's rant at the end of the day. This is about misconduct, but whose? He threw everybody under the bus and yet again never took accountability for his own actions. It's everybody else's fault, including in that one paragraph, the defendants themselves. It's not my fault, it's my client's fault. Ninja Puppy, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Go ahead, say it. Hugh Hathcock. Yeah. Anyway. Y'all crack me up. And that is not supposed to be a grift with super chatting me. That is just, I am not going to say that without getting some sort of compensation because y'all make fun of me and I'm kind of sick of being made fun of for the way I talk for that specific reason. So it's not a grift, but it's if I'm going to say that person's name, it's going to be, I'm going to be compensated for it. This is about credibility, though, and the court, who the court's actually going to believe when it comes time to hand sanctions down to Bruce. But there will be sanctions, and this right here is how you know that he is scared of sanctions. And he's some Bruce simp is going to be in my comment section. You don't know what you're talking about, blah blah blah. He would not have written this. John would not have submitted it to the court if Bruce wasn't scared, because he hasn't said anything in this case. Technically, what he said behind the scenes, I don't know, don't care. He's not said anything on the court record. But the last thing that was put in had mentioned sanctions against him. And now all of a sudden he's speaking. Somebody is scared. For good reason, because when you don't show up for a federal court hearing, you kind of got to be held accountable. And it's going to be a while because this case is still on a stay. However, you will be held accountable. Karma always keeps receipts, and this judge is not a fan of anybody in this case. So now he is telling everybody, be on the lookout. No, Georgia. Bulldog. Go Dogs. You have to listen to Squid pronounce it. No, y'all are mean. Y'all are mean to me. All right, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your night. I'm going to go eat dinner because I heard it was finished and I'm hungry because I really haven't eaten all day. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow night on the other channel. I do stream at 9 p.m., so I'm after Jeremy Hales. 9 p.m. Eastern, we are talking chronic pain and hormones. So, go Dogs. BB Boo is dragging the case against the lawyer foreman about not being sanctioned. So dumb. So dumb. Thanks for that. Relying on the wit and charm and truth on display here. I don't know about wit and charm, but there's something on display. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy rants. Or it just could be my my don't piss off mama bear. And even a year and a half later, if you haven't apologized to me for pissing off mama bear, I'm still going to make fun of you every chance I get. And Bruce pissed off mama bear. But y'all have a great day. Bye, guys.